text rights, RIGHTS, 80123. I repeat, rights, 80123. You text that, and you'll get a message from Ammon Bundy. And this message is about community, about neighbors, family, friends, trustworthy alliances. I don't know if you guys have been up to date on the news and stuff that's going on and everything, but everything from people trying to dictate to individual people whether they need to get a vaccine or not. And they're talking about doing it forcibly. I don't know how well that's going to go off. I don't think it's going to go off very well, because I know several people that I've already talked to that said that's a bunch of nonsense. Ain't nobody going to forcefully inoculate me with anything, stick a needle in my arm or my child's arm, or take my child away to a safe camp forcibly. So anyway, these are the things I want to share about today. Ammon's doing a nationwide thing, and I'm hoping that whoever sees this video will text that rights 80123 and listen to the message that he's got, because it's about your neighbors that are real close to you coming to your aid if you need them, and you coming to their aid. He brings up the interesting part of history about it was neighbor helping neighbor during the Revolutionary War. It was neighbor standing up for neighbor during that time. And there's been time and time again in history past where neighbors have come to the aid of each other. And the same thing with family. Family coming to the aid of each other has been a common thing throughout as long as this country ever existed, and probably even before that. So I want to encourage you to text rights 80123. They'll give you a map eventually, and you'll pick the area that you're in, which includes 3 or 4 counties, maybe 2 counties, depending on where you're at. And then they'll hook you up with other people that are in that area. So far, the only people I've been hooked up with are down south. I'm in North Florida. I heard an event down south, and I heard people got arrested. And if you don't know who Ammon Bundy is, I encourage you to really listen closely to his side of the story, because he's got some interesting things to share. And he's proved to me who he is. I'm not concerned. I'm not going to go hiding, and I'm not going to hide who I am, and I'm not going to not speak up for what's right, because I'm worried about somebody's putting me on a doggone list. Okay? So, if this isn't for you, go ahead and turn off your doggone, or switch to another channel or whatever you want to do, if it's not for you, because I'm going to say what exactly needs to be said. Now, it's comforting to know that I have neighbors where I live that extend out. Neighbors here extend out 8 miles, 10 miles, 12 miles. That's just the way it is, because we're so far out in the country. And I got neighbors literally that extend out that far, that are good neighbors, and we've already decided that we'll stand for each other as long as the person that's asking for help isn't doing any nonsense, sticking by the Constitution, and isn't going out looking for trouble. Now, I watched a video today. Guy was saying, about not going out to look for trouble, and I understand that. I don't want to do that either. I don't want to be the guy I don't want to be a shot that's heard around the world. I don't want to be the martyr. That doesn't mean I won't live for my freedom. And what I mean by live for my freedom is that I'll do everything within my realm of possibility, within my scope of influence, within my circle of influence, to stand up for what's right and let people know. I won't be muzzled, I won't be hushed, I won't be neutered. And, some people might say, well, he's too old to do anything. Well, there's other aspects to warfare other than getting out there and running and gunning. Excuse me, I have a yellow fly that I need to get rid of here, because if I don't, he's just going to come in here and bug me, and bug me, and bug me. Matter of fact, I'm putting a reward out for him, a bounty. Anybody wants to come here and get him, you're welcome to. But anyway, to stay within focus of what I'm saying, as long as this yellow fly leave me alone. They like to get the back of my arms for some reason, sneaking from behind. Reminds me of some of our tyrant government employees, not all of them, but some of them. And I'm not going to say 99% of them are good either, because I don't know whether I believe that or not. I could ask Amon Bundy and see what he would say. So, anyway, I wanted to share this stuff with you because I think it's important. I think that the time is coming now where our organizational skills, our mental capabilities that we have, that God's given us, we need to start using them. Those organizational skills, all that really means is, and I'm going to share what I heard from I don't want to give away who he is, so I'm going to say, let's just say he's an operator. And that operator has credentials, and he said that one of the best ways to organize each other, and I agree with this for the most part, is to start out with family, trusted family members. If you got somebody that ain't trusted in your family, then hey, work around them. But start out with trusted family members of like mind. Like mind means freedom loving, liberty loving, First Amendment loving, Second Amendment loving, without exception to any of them. I mean, there's no exception. There's no, they're either for it or they're against it. There's nothing in between. There's no, but if there's this situation, and if there's, no, our founding fathers would have choked if you said that, and probably ran you out of the tavern that they were sitting in. And they did sit in taverns and make this, and make some of the decisions, by the way. And some of the people might have been considered unsightly. But if you was to ask them if these were the people they need, as in the words of Mel Gibson in the movie The Patriots, this is exactly the sort we need. You got people that are liberty-minded that may not necessarily be on fire for Christ, but they understand what freedom and liberty is, and they would die standing up for you to have that freedom of religion, the freedom and liberty to worship. They understand how important it is. Even though they may not be real religious themselves, most of them have a firm belief in God. And that thing, how can you not look around, looking back on it, these trees, the way everything's made. So, anyway, you start with family, trusted members of your family, and then maybe start going out to some of the extended family and find out who they are and ask them to start recruiting their trusted members of the extended family. And as you see, it begins to build and build and build and build. Now, some of y'all may not have family around you. You may have moved, they may have moved. They may be a long way away, You can still include them, but the Bible talks about a neighbor being better than a close neighbor being better than a faraway brother. And you know what the just is of that. The just is that Your neighbor's closer, he can get to you. If my brother calls for help and he says, this is important, boom, I'm there. I'm there. But it's going to take me about 5 hours to get there, maybe 6. He may have a trusted neighbor. He may call one of his firefighting buddies, and immediately that guy show up in 5 minutes. So, you know, that's the point I'm trying to get across, is that we team up. There's no leader. It's a leaderless group. The only leader we have, no leader except King Jesus. He's our leader. He'll guide us in what we do. No, saying that doesn't mean you don't need to be trained, and you don't need to understand what you're doing. Understand the psyops of the enemy, of the tyrannical politicians that are out there. And people may shake their head and say, oh my gosh, he's calling the politicians tyrannical. Hey, listen. Look at them. Look at them. They're easily bought off. They'll easily sell their soul for cash. And that's on the Democratic side and the Republican side. So that's what I'm trying to get the point across today, is that there's freedom-loving Americans that live right next door. We get to know them, find out who they are, and text RIGHTS 80123 and get hooked up. Don't let fear ruin your life. Don't let fear run your life. Don't let fear dictate whether you can speak up or not. Don't let fear keep you from standing up for your neighbor or for your church or for your community. You know, you may end up being the last one. And then who's going to come stand by your side when they've done arrested everybody else and took them to jail? There's people going to jail for opening up their beauty salon, for opening up their gym. They're being fined. This is absolutely insane. You know, for going to church, you're being harassed. This is absolutely insane. This cannot happen. This has got to stop. Okay? Now, I'm going to talk about what another guy talked about today, and that is, when is the time to act also. And what I mean by act is, you know, probably half of the guys watching this thing, or girls watching this thing, are wondering, okay, what does he mean by act? Does he mean, you know, is it time to bring them up? No, it's not time to bring them up. The time to act is when you're in defense of your family and your friends. And what I mean by act is, somebody calls me and says, listen, I just opened up my diner. Already the sheriff's department and law enforcement's here, the police are here. They're trying to shut me down. You know, I know that if I go one more week without this, I will therefore lose my business, everything I've worked for, and which also means I will lose my house, which means I will lose my car, and I'll lose everything. You know, I'll lose my insurance. I won't be able to pay the insurance for my kids and my family. So is that a time to stand up? Yeah, you're darn straight it is. So what you do is that guy calls you, that lady calls you, that woman calls you, that wife, that husband, whoever it is, that neighbor calls you, you say, all right, and then you get on the phone and you call your 8 or 10 people, and they'll call their 8 or 10 people, and everybody shows up with cameras, and everybody shows up armed. I thought you said you believed in the Second Amendment. What do you mean? Antagonizing. No, we're defending ourselves. We're defending our neighbor that's ready to lose everything he has, including maybe his life. Because what happens if his insurance, he gets sick and he ain't got no insurance? And it's some little pencil pusher over there at town hall or city hall that's standing up saying, oh, we can't open it up. Hey, that's a bunch of nonsense. There's something got to change here. So now I'm not saying fire the first shot, but there's nothing wrong with defending yourself. When they go in there maybe with batons or tasers and start tasering grandma, you know, you got to do like the Bundys did. Oh man, yeah, that's right. I said it. Yet you go back and watch the video where they tased him, and then they threw his aunt to the ground who had cancer. Threw her to the ground. Oh no, they didn't. They were within their rights. They ever helped? No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Yeah, and the boy never had his hands in the air either. Yeah. Yeah. Lavoy Finnegan was invited to speak in Day, Oregon. He was invited by the sheriff's department. They could have let him go there and got him when he got out of his car. But they didn't do that. They got him on a remote stretch of road. They set up a roadblock on a curve, which they're not supposed to do, knowing that he'd come around that curve with the snow piled up high, roads icy, and with that roadblock would be a surprise for him, and it would give them an excuse to try to shoot him. Now, the Oregon State Police are the ones that shot him in the back, but before they shot him in the back, FBI snipers were up on a higher plane and took shots at him. First thing he did when he came out of his car was he opened that door and put his hands in the air, and them shots had already come. Wasn't that quick? At that point, he's got the right to defend himself. You put your hands in the air and somebody's still shooting at you, there's something wrong. So no, 99% of them may not be good. There's probably maybe 90% of them, and then the 10% that's bad. And then maybe another 10% that ain't bad yet because they're being misled, but they ain't made that big bad decision yet. So, anyway, I just thought I'd put that out there. I want people to be able to decide in their own mind where their circle of influence, how far it extends out, how many miles, who your neighbors are. Start making friends. Start getting to know them. Start finding the guys that are patriotic. Start getting with them. You know, don't make a mistake and fall for some guy that's a saboteur or somebody that's going in there to provoke you to do something before you need to do something. And over through history, we'll see that where a provocateur comes in there into a group that's a freedom-loving, liberty-minded loving group, and all of a sudden they come in there and they say, hey, I know a guy that can make one of these, and we can take care of 8 or 9 of them at the same time. Now wait a minute now. Are you going to fall for that? Well, and then you'll tell him no, and he'll say, well, no, we won't use them. We'll just have them in case we need them. Well, wait a minute. Are you going to fall for that? What that means is that he wants you to have these in your possession, and then he's going to go inform on you and tell on you that you're a danger, that you're a menace, that you're working with whatever, something that goes boom. And next thing you know, you're in jail like poor old Schaefer Cox at 28 years old, homeschool Alaskan, just a good man, good solid man. Don't believe all the nonsense. I mean, you can look right now and you can see that the Department of Justice, that the DOJ, Department of Justice, the FBI have lied and lied and lied. So, listen, because you see it now on TV, because it's somebody prominent like our president, like the general, because it's prominent, you see it. What about all the Americans that have had to go through that same thing, that are just everyday Americans and didn't have the wherewithal to fight against it? The Bundys did, but he spent 2 years in prison. Ammon spent 2 years in prison. You know what? That's one of the reasons I listen to him. That's one of the reasons why I'll follow his advice. Remember, text RIGHTS 80123. RIGHTS 80123. And you'll be connected with somebody in your area. Maybe they'll be in a leadership position, and there may only be certain things you can do, only certain time. You know, they had an event down in Miami. That's 5-6 hours away, 7 hours away from me, I guess. And somebody got arrested. So I'm gonna get the phone number. I'm gonna call, and I'm gonna see if I can help send some bond money, or if I can, you know, it was a protest to open up the beaches. And I think three people that I know of, maybe more, got thrown in jail. They're in jail, and they're just holding them there. You know. Now they'll probably be able to bond. I think their bond was $500 for one offense, another $100 for another offense. They start adding it up. So anyway, I just want you to see that, and I want you to start making a stand. Okay. Uh, I'm in North Florida. Uh, I don't know if it's good to say your phone number over YouTube or not. I have a bunch of crazies calling me. So think this through. Remain calm. Use your mind that God's given you. Look for the enemy. I think they had over 15 or 16 informants inside the Malnor Wildlife Refuge with Ammon and Lavoie. All of informants. They were everywhere, and none of them knew each other. So they were sent in there, and I remember they tried to get the one informant that was the cook, the lady cook, to say bad stuff about Ammon. And she says, well, for the most part, they prayed over their meals. They acted like they loved God. They hated when injustice was done, and they were making a stand. And no matter what they said, she wouldn't change her story. That's right. She was right there when they were talking around the dinner room table, and she heard what they had to say. But they still went after him, knowing that it was all a trick. It was all a doggone lie. So, train and be proficient. Look up Appleseed Project. It's nationwide. It's from, I think, 8, 9, maybe 10 years old, all the way up to 105. If you can still see and you got a 22 gun, a 22 rifle, they're going to make everybody an expert marksman. Not only that, you're going to learn history, because they actually teach history while they're telling you about it, about how the rifle was used to create liberty and freedom across America, starting with the Revolutionary War, and maybe times before. I haven't been to the class yet, but I'm going to be signing up, and I'm probably going to get some of my family members to go with me. Anyway, I'm not going to let this video take any longer. I probably already took longer than I should. Hopefully it's recording. Hopefully I haven't wasted 20 minutes of my time. It's hard to tell. I'm terrible with this technology, but I try. Remember, text writes 80123 and become proficient with your mind and physically and with your tools. Thank you for tuning in to Prepper Consultant. If you, I always forget to do this. If you like what you've seen, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. And I guess you can make comments, but I haven't figured out how to read the comments yet. I asked my wife, and I don't know if she hadn't figured it out yet, or whether something's wrong or what. But anyway, I'll just share that with you. God bless you all. Use God's wisdom in everything you do. Seek Him daily in prayer. Seek Him throughout the day in prayer. You need to be close to Him in these times right here when you do make these decisions. And remember, He's on your side. Ask Samson. He's got that jawbone waiting for you. Thank you.